Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. Chapter 17, Part 2. I'd better get this car back to the guy I borrowed it from, I muttered. She smiled again. Glad to hear you're going straight. Yeah, you convinced me. She watched me get in the car, still sort of concerned. I probably looked like someone who was about to drive off a cliff. Maybe I would have, if that kind of mood would work for a werewolf. She waved once, her eyes trailing after the car. At first, when I drove more slowly on the way back, I wasn't in a rush. I didn't want to go where I was going. Back to that house, back to that forest, back to that plane I'd run from, back to being absolutely alone with it. Okay, that was melodramatic. I wouldn't be all alone, but that was a bad thing. Leah and Seth have to suffer with me. I still Seth wouldn't have to suffer long. Kid didn't deserve to have his peace of mind ruined. Leah didn't either, but at least it was something she understood. Nothing new about pain for Leah. I sighed big as I thought what Leah wanted from me. I knew now that she was going to get it. I was still pissed at her, but I couldn't ignore the fact that I could make her life easier. And now that I knew her better, I thought she'd probably do this for me if our positions were reversed. It would be interesting at the very least, and strange too, to have Leah as a companion, as a friend. We were going to get under each other's skin a lot, that was for sure. She wouldn't really want to let me wallow, but I thought that was a good thing. I probably need someone to kick my butt now and then. But when it came right down to it, she was really the only friend who had any chance of understanding what I was going through now. I thought of the hunt this morning and how close our minds were to that one moment in time. It hadn't been a bad thing. Different. A little scary, a little awkward, but also nice in a weird way. I didn't have to be all alone. And I knew Leah was strong enough to face with me for the months that were coming. Months and years. It made me just think about it. I felt like I was staring out across the ocean that often was swing from shore to shore before I could rest again. So much time coming, and then so little time before it started. Before I was flung into that ocean, 3.5 more days, and here I was, wasting that little time I had. I started driving too fast again. I saw Sam and Jared following the side of the road like sentinels as I raced the road towards Forks. They were well hidden in thick branches, but I was expecting them, and I knew what to look for. I noticed as I blew past them, not bothering to wonder what they made of my day trip. I nodded to Leah and Seth too, as they cruised up the Collins driveway. It was starting to get dark and the clouds were thick in the side of the sound, but I saw their eyes glittering in the glow of the headlights. I'll explain to them later. There was plenty of time for that. It was a surprise to find Edward waiting for me in the garage. I hadn't seen him away from Bella in days. I could tell from his face that nothing bad had happened to her. In fact, it looked more peaceful than before. My stomach tightened as I remembered where that cruise came from. It was really too bad that, with my brooding, I'd forgotten to wreck the car. Oh well, I probably wouldn't have been able to stand chasing this car anyway. Maybe he guessed as much, and that's why he lent it to me in the first place. A few things, Jacob, he said as I cut the engine. I took a deep breath and held it for a minute. Then slowly I got up the car and threw the keys to him. Apparently, thanks for the loan, I said sourly. Apparently I'd have to be repaid. What do you want now? Firstly, I know how averse you are to using your authority with your pack, but... I blinked, astonished that he'd even dream of starting in on this one. What? If you can't or won't control Leah, then Leah, I interrupted, speaking through my teeth. What happened? Edward's face was hard. She came up to see why he left so abruptly. I tried to explain. I suppose it might not have come out right. What did she do? She faced her human form and... Really? I interrupted again. Shocked this time. I couldn't process that. Leah letting her guard down right in the mouth of the enemy's lair. She wanted to speak to Bella. To Bella? Edward got all hissy then. I won't let Bella be upset like that again. I don't care how justified Leah thinks she is. I didn't hurt her, of course I wouldn't. But I'll throw her out of the house if it happens again. I'll launch her right across the river. Hold on, what did she say? None of this was making any sense. Edward took a deep breath, composing himself. Leah was unnecessarily harsh. I'm not going to pretend that I understand why Bella is unable to let go of you, but I do know that she doesn't want to behave this way to hurt you. She suffers a great deal of pain she's inflicting on you and on me by asking you to stay. What Leah said was uncalled for. Bella's been crying. Wait, Leah was yelling at Bella about me. He nodded one sharp nod. You were quite vehemently championed. Whoa, I didn't ask you to do that. I know. I rolled my eyes. Of course he knew. He knew everything. But that was really something about Leah. Who would have believed it? Leah walked into Berserker's place, human, to complain about how I was being treated. I can't promise to control Leah, I told him. I won't do that. But I'll talk to her, okay? And I don't think there'll be a repeat. Lily's not one to hold back, so she's probably got it all off her chest today. I would say so. Anyway, I'll talk to Bella about it too. She doesn't need to feel bad. This one's on me. I already told her that. Of course she will. Is she okay? She's sleeping now. Rose is with her. So the psycho is Rose now. He completely crossed over to the dark side. He ignored that thought, continuing with a more complete answer to my question. She's better in some ways, aside from Leah's tirade and the resulting guilt. Better. So Edward was a homely monster and everything was all lovey-dovey now. Fantastic. It's a bit more than that, he murmured. Now that I can make out the child's thought, it's the fact that he or she has remarkably developed mental facilities. He can understand us to an extent. My mouth fell open. Are you serious? Yes. He seems to have a vague sense of what hurts her now. He's trying to avoid that as much as possible. He loves her already. I stared at Edward, feeling sort of like my eyes might pop out of their sockets. Unseen such disbelief, I could see right away this was the critical factor. This is what could change Edward, but the monster could have convinced him of this love. He couldn't hate what loved Bella. That's probably why he couldn't hate me either. There's a big difference though. I wasn't killing her. Edward went on acting like he hadn't heard all that. Progress, I believe, is more than we judged. When Carlisle returns, they're not back, I threatened sharply. I thought of Sam and Jared watching the road. Did they get curious as to what was going on? Alice and Jasper are. Carlisle sent all the blood he was able to acquire, but it wasn't as much as he was hoping for. Bella will use it with supply another day in the way her appetite has grown. Carlisle stays to try and find another source. I don't think that's necessary now, but it wants to be covered for any eventuality. Why isn't it necessary, if she needs more? I could tell he was watching and listening to my reaction carefully as he explained. I'm trying to persuade Carlisle to deliver the baby as soon as he's back. What? The child seems to be attempting rough movements now, but it's difficult. He's become too big. It's madness to wait, but he's clearly developed beyond what Carlisle had guessed. Bella's too fragile to delay. I kept taking my legs knocked out from under me. First, countering Edward's hatred of that thing so much. Now I realised that those 4 days was a sure thing. I'd banked on them. The endless ocean of grief that waited stretched out before me. I tried to catch my breath. Edward waited. I stared at his face while I recovered, recognising another change there. Do you think she's going to make it? I whispered. Yes, that's the other thing I wanted to talk to you about.